7 Days of Sunny June, Book 1, March 25th. Song yet to be sung. The woman lowered her glasses and said, "Yeah, I'll get the elk done. Don't sweat, kid." Eyes of the purple gaze at sunset. The woman's face brightened, long, flowing tresses of amethyst and white down to her shins. She wore a black leather jacket similar to the one Sunset already owned, and underneath that a t-shirt that said, "I'm insane, what's your excuse?" Strategically torn jeans and sneakers. Sunset couldn't believe her eyes. Standing in front of her, Screwball herself, live and in the flesh. Screwball, lead guitarist for Dischord's band. Screwball, who had replaced Dischord's original guitarist T-Rex when he went on to start his own band, Evil Centaurs Incorporated. Screwball, who Kerrang! Magazine named 2012 Guitarist of the Year. Screwball, who was named #1 Rolling Stone's 2013 Women in Rock issue. Screwball was probably the best damn guitarist of her generation, period. Sunset immediately tried not to squeal like she was Pinky while on an ultra sugar high of fudge dipped chocolate frosted sugar bombs. Screwball then looked at the information clerk. "Either way, I'll have a meeting tomorrow morning with Dr. Paperchest regarding the Musica Allegra archives, and I'll appreciate if you add Miss..." Screwball then turned to look back at Sunset. "Oh!" Sunset snapped back to reality, figuring it'd be best to ask for autographs, pictures, and all that later. Sunset Shimmer." She pulled out her ID. "Contact phone number, please." 232-903-5769, Sunset replied. "Okay, you're all set, Miss Shimmer," the lady replied, nearly Sunset her identification. "Thanks," Sunset said to the guitar. Screwball waved it off, grinning. "Oi, it all hurts you, right? Go doing this for you, cousin. Honestly, I think that's pretty damn cool," she said, nodding her head with approval. "Plus, you got your head level. Most kids your age go gaga or freak the hell out, well, because I'm me." "Well, I didn't want to make a scene, and..." Sunset began. Screwball laughed in response. "Don't want to make a scene? You must not be a local. This is L.A. Everything is the same." "Yeah, I'm not around from here," she admitted. "I'm visiting from Camelot." "I've been there before. Got a nice town." She pulled out her phone and looked at it and said, "Well, I gotta head out. Call me a friend, but good talking to more." "Wait, aren't you here for the reception?" Sunset asked. "I'm assuming you're a descendant of La Musica." "Well, I am, but I don't do parties. At least not this time," she replied. "Don't get me wrong. I know there's a time to dress up and look good, like the comics and shit. But let's just say I don't do foo-foo very well. Anyway, I'll go get going. See you tomorrow, kid." And that Screwball began to ascend the steps. The valet noticed their arrival. They had called on the radio. A second later, what looked like to be the weirdest looking car Sunset had ever seen in her life came out of the valet parking area. Screwball got into the driver's seat. He looked like a huge tip to the valet, if his wide smile was any indication. With that, gently eased the alien automobile out of the parking circle and down Standard Drive towards the Los Angeles streets. "Hi, Sonny!" Sunset turned to see Octavia, Phil, Sticks, and Midnight approaching her. "Did you see her?" "See who?" "Screwball," Phil Sticks answered. "Someone said she was just there a minute ago." Yeah," Sunset answered. "I'm meeting her here tomorrow for a research project. Don't ask how I got wrapped up in that." "You are?" Octavia asked. "Oh, that's great. And I think you're going to be bored all day because Mom and Dad are performing tomorrow." "You are? I didn't see you bring your bass." Octavia nodded. "Since we're traveling, I bought my electric upright. It's easier to bring out fights, good for formal performances. And I could borrow it out for the museum. I guess my parents and I kind of forgot to mention it. Since it's usually Tiny who comes along and either reads a book or explores the museum." "Sorry." "No biggie," Sunset replied, waving out the concern. "Besides, I got this. I'll be right as rain tomorrow, just once." "Kid, you can relax, okay?" Screwball told her as the pair walked from the main buildings of the museum towards the research center on the other side of the museum grounds. "At the end of the day, I'm just another chick who plays guitar. Nothing big." "Nothing big, you say?" Sunset said, feelings flowing as an alicorn. She practically swore her feet weren't touching the ground. Weren't you the one who took the MTV Music Awards prize for Best Guitar Solo? Screwball shook her head. Yeah, song-wise. Sunset. Yeah, that. Yeah, okay. I'm famous. But I worked for that thing. When T-Rex left to start the ECI, the boss man held a huge contest globally to find the right kind of guitars to replace his old buddy. Frankly, this called T-Rex had just gotten the band started when I was in grade school gnawing on a pop seeker. So was someone not famous? You better believe people came out the woodwork to try to earn the spot in Discord's band. Look at the woman's eyes as it sounds like she said, a lot of people performed for those 2 weeks, including me. And I'll be honest, as good as the media says I am, as good as the awards I win are, there were a ton of accolades better than I'll ever be. People who could play with technical perfection, people who knew a broad variety at least. There was a guy there who could play a line just like Giza. That kind of Screwball's face was priceless. Even I can't play like Giza. Man's a legend. Then how did you get the job? Because of something that the D-Man really appreciates. He likes musicians well-rounded. Discord doesn't play rhythm guitar. He also plays the piano and drums. While Screwloose is our drummer, she also plays the banjo and double bass. And though Fabrice plays the bass guitar, he also knows how to rock that flute. Seriously. Also me. I probably wouldn't got the job if I wasn't shooting the shit with SF. I told her I also played the guitar and the violin. Once Discord got bad, I got the slot. I can even remember what he told me. Guitarists are a dime a dozen, even the good ones. But musicians are what make the difference between a good song and a damn good song. Well, if it's any opinion, Screwball stopped aside. Look, Sunset, do me a favor, okay? Just, just act like I'm not famous. Here, you can even call me by my real name if you want. I thought your real name was Screwball, Sunset said. Rockstar shook her head. Girls of emphasis and ivory cheering everywhere. Well, the name's a kid, Screwball. It's actually a stage name, just like Screwloose uses. Only Discord and Fabrice use their real names. Got a nickname from a tattoo I got when I was drunk, doing something stupid in Tijuana the month before I got the gig. But I'm sure you heard this time from watching Celebrity Expert. To be normal people doing interviews. But for those of us in the band, it's still, at the end of the day, we just want to be normal. We're musicians just happen to be rock stars. Not rock stars who happens to be musicians. Besides, see, man, my thing's cost me quite a bit. It has. But don't really want to talk about it now, okay? Screwball said. So let's start this again. Screwball removed her shades, sticking her back pocket. Hi, my name's Silver Violet, she said, offering her hand. Sunset looked at Summer Violet curiously. Summer Violet? You shall hear about Kate's sister's name. Screwball replied with a grin. I got named after our great-grandfather. She got her name because she was born at an ungodly hour in a small desert town while me and my parents were coming home from a weekend trip in Vegas. Fair enough, Sunset said, taking Takara's hand and shaking. So, how much research material are you giving us access to? Well, Screwball said with a thoughtful look, flying does come in handy on occasion. I spoke with Drs. Paper Chase and Futen Documento, the last representative from the Spanish government, and they were willing to give me access to everything they brought along. Granted, we gotta be careful and stuff. We all talking about prices on things after all. But they also got some computer databases that haven't been made public yet. I thought sounded keen to be assistant. How's your spines, by the way? I'm not sure everything's translated. Taking it in high school, Sensei explained. Not the greatest or anything, though. Well, at least you'll learn. Smart Screwball laughed. I had this guy I used to like back in high school, but blew it off because he didn't think it was necessary. Then he joined the Air Force called stationed in Spain. Ran into him being the base because he was stationed when we played the USO Geek last year. He admitted he done fucked up but good, especially since his Spanish wife got on his case about not being able to speak to her parents or family. As the duo arranged at the research building, Screwball motioned towards the doors. Well, here, sit. Let's go resuscitize or something. No arguments here. Sensei agreed as she and Screwball walked through the sliding doors into a secret building that was the Brentwood Research Institute. Setting I swear, I should hate you or something. The excited voice of Rainbow Dash over the phone. Sunset called her friend during her lunch break. Pics or it did happen, Shimmer! Turn the video chat on, will you? Sunset brought up the screen's video call mode. Then the moment Rainbow's face appeared on screen, turned the viewing camera towards Screwball. He insisted, no, he's something up. Do up the horns and wave. Sunset turned the phone back to herself and said, see? When the flame-haired girl was rewarded with our silence, he said, what, Rainbow? Quiet for James? Sonny, if our friendship means anything, you will get me an autograph right this second, okay? Immediately, but not sooner! I'll ask, Sunset replied. But for now, let's just ride. I'll talk to you later, okay? Sonny, I'm big! Sunset never heard the remaining Rainbow's statement as he disconnected the call and slipped the phone back in her pocket. Sorry about that, Sunset apologized. Rainbow pranks me often enough that I thought that this would be too perfect an opportunity to get her back. Screwball smiled wildly. I can get along with that. Boss man's quite the pranks on himself. I remember when we were laying down the vocal tracks for a course. Out of nowhere, he starts singing the lyrics we written and breaks out into the opera Operetta by Verdi. Both the producer and engineer are looking at him like it's insane, but he's just singing along. Hell, I don't even know where the fuck he learned to sing in operatic style. You're shitting me. Nope. You familiar with that song, Sonata by Sapphire Shores? The opera singing in the background is discourse. Sapphire was in the recording studio down the hall from us. Once he heard it, decided to dub it in for a song. Really? I did not know that. Says the waiter placed her once in front of her. She heard the song several times, courtesy of Rarity abusing it to death. But little did either girl know that Sunset's favorite singer was behind the more quirky part of the pop song. Yep, I want the female sister, but, no, it's nothing. Screwball said, immediately shutting up. Let's just enjoy our notes and chat about what we researched. What were you able to find out? Well, I found a PDF scan written by Duke Alamonte's brother, Viscount Colonel, claiming that there was no way that Musica Allegra's son Luther was Alamonte's son's offspring. However, Colonel's charges are believed to be spurious, as if Luther was believed to be not to be Alamonte's son, and then Colonel's own son. Postad could have made a claim for Alamonte's lands. Yeah, I saw the same thing. Fortunately, Amarante claimed Luther as his son then afterwards. Amarante and La Musica had sweet strings, staccato, grand vals, adagio, and canto allegre, thus preventing Colonel and his line from inheriting Duchy and Najira. A thought suddenly came to her mind. You know, I'll buy I can make a big soul album all this. Theme album too. Medieval soap opera? Well, if I use that for the title of the album, I'll make sure you get the credit, Screwball said with a laugh. All right, I did notice something I didn't really before. What's that? She had a healthier sense of unicorns and Pegasi. Looking through her compositions, nearly all of them had something to do with unicorns, Pegasi, horses, or some gleaming castle. Keep in mind, this was centuries ago, well before the Disney princess crop we have nowadays. She lived in an area where indoor plumbing was science fiction, so I don't get why she had anything like that in mind. I'm not sure I follow, Susan said, though she knew exactly what Screwball was talking about. Like sites, since you know musician. Well, check this out. Screwball pulled out a phone, brought out Spotify, and selected a few songs. This is an album of selected movements of the works that were recorded by the Soy Cheese Quartet. Let's listen to the music and look at the track lines. I have to wonder if we should also credit her with the discovery of marijuana, because I swear the woman was high, just for a couple seasons. Annie sets her phone and headphones. Screwball insisted she take a spin on the tunes. Sunset listened to the tracks while Screwball munched on her turkey and breed. A surprise appeared on the face of the fair-haired teen. The guitarist grinned and said, "See, well, I'll tell you, very evocative music. I don't even listen to classical on regular basis. It's almost as if I could see those pig-side unicorns she kept trying to imagine in her music." On hearing Screwball's words, Sunset began to play the controls in her mind, reeled from what she was listening to. That's... She looked at the song hurriedly playing over her earbuds. Sympathy number 17 in D major. The Unicorn's Gavotte. At least, That's what the name of the song she was listening to was. But that wasn't what she was hearing. That's the royal anthem of Equestria. In Regium Aetreus Solus. By force of habit long unused, she mentally sang along to the song, the lyrics fitting her memory from all too easy to the song. Hail our eternal Son, nearly her reign be done. Peace with his holy morn, while wolf and wing and spiraled horn. Yea, all these souls thee praise, for the princess of our days. She forced herself to stop, switching to the next selection. The string quartet number 5 in E-flat major, Ballet of the Pegasi. Sure enough, it was the Ballet of the Pegasi. The music was down at the Banquet of the Clouds, a well-known aerial ballet that Pegasi performed at the day of the summer celebration. Celestia had taken her when she was 10 years old to see a performance in Cloudsdale. In her young ideas, it must have been the most beautiful thing ever. Celestia had briefly wanted to be an aerial ballet dancer, so the princess dashed her dreams by explaining only Pegasi could do so. Ignoring the memory of that heartbreak, she then went to the next selection, part of Clarinete Carcero in A major, The Paladin on the Mountain. She recognized that as almost note-for-note copy of Ode to the Capital of the World, song composed by Golden Tones upon the founding of Canterlot. Sunset remembered it well. Then the last time she and Celestia attended a recital together, their relationship already strained. The following week would be Sunset's critical mistake, leading her on the path that set her here. As he forwarded through the tracks, he listened to each selection briefly. Some of them were similar songs he had heard, some newer outright copies. According to Symphony No. 6 in F major, the Pastoral Sympathy was conformed to the song by Bella Sonata as known as The Romance of the Farmer's Daughter. She heard Celestia hum the first movement often. A few were ones she wasn't familiar with, and only deepened the mystery. Was La Musica a refugee from Equestria? And how? And why? What drove her here? Sunset! The team finally snapped out of her thoughts as Screwball reached over, pulled the earbud out of Sunset's ears. Oi! Oh, the Sunset, you okay? Huh? Oh, sorry. Just got lost in the imagery, she lied. But yeah, I could almost see the Pegasi and unicorns in that music, as well as the Earth ponies, but let's not get into that part, shall we? Well, tell you what, she said on the earphone. I have to play in Seattle tomorrow, making a guest star appearance on Tricky Figure's new album. So, let's call it a day from now, since I have to head home and pack. You have access to all the records still, so feel free to keep working if you want. Just take the day off and we get back to everything on Thursday, okay? I'll keep looking, Sunset promised. Wouldn't want to let you down. You don't leave me like that, Screwball assured her. It's not like. Screwball sighed again, more audibly than the last time she cut herself. Like what? Just don't worry about it, Clem. Don't sing. And you got a few more years before you have to deal with this kind of crap, so. And you're clearly bothered about it, Sunset said. Do me a favor. Don't just dismiss me as a kid because you're older than me. Especially since I'm probably older than you. I was living my own from age 12. Yes, 12. As a runaway until I was taken in by my current family. I spent 4 years living in an abandoned warehouse with scanty utilities. So, I know hard. The look on Screwball's face was priceless. Oh, yeah, we'll certainly. No, that's the folks I came here with. I call them my cousin, aunt, and uncle, but really, they're just an extended foster family, no real ties. Doesn't mean I don't care about them at all, just that a year ago at this time, I didn't have anyone in my life. Sunset opted not to tell the whole details for obvious reasons, but she figured as at first it would suffice. So I know hardship. Well, you'll not certainly. Hey, it's like the lyrics in Attitude Adjustment. You have no idea the shit I've been through. And it sounds like a lie because it's all true. Screwball sat there for a few minutes, as if in thought, then started to speak. Yeah, so here's the deal. My parents were just 70s soft rock duo. Not the biggest group out there, but in the early mid-70s, they did fair enough. Ever heard of After School Special? They're the ones that recorded Skyrockets at Night and Sunflowers at Sunset, right? My foster father has one of their CDs. Sunset suppressed a shudder. She remembered the time that Nightlight had given her a lift to school and had it on. She didn't want to tell him that she had absolutely no ability at singing. They inflicted torture a bit brief, and he didn't try to sing anything else. I I didn't know my rental albums were already on CD. Must be a legacy level. Anyway, since then, they seem to think they know how to manage their kids' careers. My older brother was a disappointment to them, mainly because he had no interest in music. He's a firefighter at Santa Monica, by the way. As for me, once I learned how to play the guitar, my parents insisted on trying to get me to every kids band possible. I was actually on NBC Saturday Kids Zone for a while as part of the band, and I hope nobody ever touched those. But finally, I got a gig with Flaming Ravioli, and we was a hit. No, that band didn't last long. That's what led me to my spot with Discord. But during all that time, my parents had an unexpected third kid, never pressing her hard to follow the typical teen path to stardom. Sweet condescending, bitch who flashes her tits the moment she gets out of a contract, the drunken party whore till her career flatlines to use an adult contemporary comeback album. Well, she doesn't want to do that, no matter how much my parents insist that's the best way to do her career. What makes it worse is that I'll try to get her to come live with me, so she doesn't have to hear Mom and Dad's drunken ass collections when they were on the cover of Teen Beat and Bananas. But she thinks I'll try to corral her career and tell her what to do. She gets enough of that shit from Mom and Dad, and I'll talk to the boss man for advice. But he's already got shit with his wife and kids. Wait, Discord's married? Screwball sighed. He's not older than high, okay? He was just in the National Enquirer last month. A scandal about him snorting cocaine off a porn star's tits. And he's married! Says it practically shouted. Leave it to him, Screwball growled. He doesn't want to pay public info, because he's trying to keep his family shielded from all this. Truthfully, his attorney is certainly not right. The guy in the photos a lookalike, and I know it, because when they claimed that drug fest in Brazil happened, Discord was working on lyrics while on vacation with his wife at the Eagles countryside. The guitarist gave the team a hard look. Remember when I said all this stallship and such bullshit in appearances? The Discord public slates, by the guy going seas with a ball tequila and all that, it's a lie. In his free time, he reads 19th century novels. Real fan of Walter Paul and other authors of the time. And writes songs for other artists he knows he can never record himself. The song, Just an Appalachian Girl by Twine Tunes, he wrote that. Yeah, it's a country gone, but he wrote that to give the Yellow Roses a band that's never gonna end up on all albums. And that's the shit my sister's trying to be made to wallow in. This goes bottled tequila on snakes is actually herbal tea, suits his voice. Like that CNN article on my sister misbehaving and my arm went to break, that was real gin juice. She's only 16 and highs alcohol. My mom and dad told her and her friends to go get pasta in the hotel room, and they bailed them out. She buried her face in palms. She shook her head. My parents insisted my sister and her friends, all of which attended elite school here in LA, thus could be very conscious about their images. Go to Miami for Christmas by themselves and go get fucking drunk in a hotel room, because it will look good for my sister's career. Can you imagine how 20 ways of fucked up that is? Sunset put two to two together. Mitz is your sister, isn't she? Now, I'll get a calling to be related to Midnight Moon Dust. And yet you departed on Monday evening, just before she and the others came looking for me. Hell, you didn't even attend the opening ceremonies for the exhibit, even though you were obviously on the guest list. I've yet to see you go near the exhibit, because that would be Miz is very interested in. But yeah, Screwball admitted, look, I love my little sister very much. I don't want her to be a slave to what my parents think fame and fortune is. If she becomes a rock star like mine, fine. She wants to be a sesame musician, that's it, fine. Hell, she doesn't want a career in music at all, I'll be at better. But this, Screwball said, waving her hands to the Compass Museum, is the legacy of my family. Everyone's practically in the goddamn music industry. But some have it worse than others. You're quiet tonight, Bella said, looking at Sunset mostly untouched appetizer plate. Sorry, just something on my mind, she said glumly. Oh, come on, Jordan. You're missing all this, Indy said. Sam mostly at La Mer on the pier, the seaside dining destination at Venice Pier. Oh, so you enjoy the place? I do, Sunset defended. It's just... I know, Bella said, looking at her own daughter. Sunset looked at both and realized something had happened she had not been privy to. As she looked at the other three on the table, wonder if her own concerns were about to take second place compared to what she had missed. Finally, she got her answer. Octavia uncharacteristically looked at her parents with anger. Did it ever occur to you to ask me what I want? Dear, this is a great opportunity, Bella explained. It would be a once-in-a-lifetime chance for you as we... No, it's not! Octavia shouted, catching the attention of everyone in the restaurant. I don't want to! I have a life, a home! And you're acting like this your sister's mom! Octavia Medley, that is uncalled for, Enid said in a firm tone. Now you will sit down, apologize to your mother, and where do you think you're going, young lady? And as it says, Octavia got up from the table and walked away in a huff. What's going on? Sunset asked. Never seen Octavia act so bratty, she thought, trying to grasp for a word. The look on the adults' faces was one of guilt. Sunset tried to wade through the conflicting emotions she felt, concerned about Screwball's issues, now definitely being shoved to the back seat for now. Leaning up from the table, she said, have no consult mind Taffy's orders. I'll talk to her. Give you a call when I've sorted it out. We didn't come here entirely for the expedition, Val began carefully. Sunset didn't waste a second more. She was out of the chair, headed towards the door as fast as she could, not causing further scene. She failed Octavia once, in her opinion. There wasn't going to be a second time. Sunset found Octavia, a second later, leaning by the edge of the pier. As she approached, the raven-haired musician never took her eyes off the undulating most of the Pacific. I wish I was like you, she said softly. They turned to look at Sunset, eyes showing a girl lost. I wish I had the strength to run away. Tavi, don't ever say that, Sunset said, slipping her arm around the girl. So, want to tell me what happened? I thought it was a lie, but I guess not, she said, her voice flat. Despite everything, Mom's still in that competition with my aunts. And I thought she really was better than that, but I guess I was wrong. Losing me here. My parents really were here to discuss joining the Runaway Symphonic. It's an elite orchestra, travels worldwide, places you wouldn't believe. They only accept the best of the musicians, and they made an offer to both Mom and Dad to join. Well, that's good, right? Sunset said, knowing full well that wasn't the case. If it had been, Octavia wouldn't have exploded like that. Sure enough, she shook her head. No, the runway is based in Paris, which means we will have to move. And yes, I said we. I overheard Mom talking to the music director of the Runaway about some school that I could attend. Lycée International de Saint-Domingue Lalle. I'm not even sure I'm pronouncing it that right. Before you continue, let me stop you right there and get us fed. Fatburgers sound okay with you? Sunset asked, pointing to a familiar red and yellow diamond in a circle logo. A one condition. I want a straw on a sake. A what? Come on, Octavia said, grabbing Sunset by the hand and leaning towards the Pierside Burger Shack. They're to die for. How can you eat that? Octavia asked as she watched Sunset finish off a triple extra large fat burger with fries and a large delicious shake. I was hungry, Sunset said, leaning back in her seat and modestly the fully loaded triple quarter pounder cheeseburger. Other patrons were looking at her with a mixture of awe and confusion. Now, before food coma sets in, want to tell me what's bothering my favorite cousin? I'm your only cousin, Sonny, not even not. See? You get favored by default. So earn your prize and start talking. I don't want to go, okay? I like living in Canterlot with my aunt and uncle and Twatty and Spike and Shiny and Katie and you too. Octavia said with a grin. I like going to Zachary's and having a normal life. I don't want to be a part of whatever war my mother and sisters have, and that my cousin Octavia said I'm being a part of too. My grandmother's a bitch who was successful at her arts before she gave it up for kids. Now she's determined to make sure we all continue the tradition of La Musica her way. Sunset sat there, having listened to every word Octavia said, and recalled the words Screwball had said just hours before. And Octavia continued. Sunset had to wonder, was this the kind of legacy that La Musica wanted to leave behind? Forget about whether or not she was a pony. Was this nothing but a legacy of pain and misery that everyone with Musica Allegra's bloodline had to endure? Finally, Octavia finished speaking and dived back into her turkey burger. Sunset said, Tavi, I think you should talk to your parents. About what? I'm going to have to learn French for the next few months because Mom and Dad care more about their careers and this whole bullshit than about me. You know that's not true, said Karen. They love you, totally and completely. I could see in their eyes when they talk to you. You said it yourself. They probably would have had more kids were enough for their schedule. So they dote on you as much as you can. I know they wish they could spend more time with you. What's wrong with that? Because I'm almost an adult now, Octavia said. And isn't it unfair to uproot me from the life I lived all these years just to go to a country where I can't speak the language just to make my parents look good? Well, in fairness, a soft voice said behind her, we've been doing that for years, Tavi. Till you return and look to see your parents standing there. Earnestly, Sunset gestured to the empty seats, which they both immediately used. Sweetheart, Ballard said, I know what you're thinking, and you're wrong. Oh, really? Octavia said acidly, only to get punched in the shoulder from Sunset. Hey, what side you on? She snarled at the other team. Be polite, Sunset reproached, to which Octavia groaned. Thank you, Sonny, Ballard said, before continuing. Anyway, I know that you think we intended to place you at the Saint Domingue School there, but that was never the case. The representative from the Runaways suggested it was they were hoping if you were close enough, once you graduated from college, you would join the Runaways there. But I don't want that for you, Tavi. We want you to have a normal life, Evening said. But though I hadn't mentioned it yet, because I was waiting for the right time. Alice and Velvet, they'd be willing to have you live with them permanently until you went to college. Since you were planning to do some redesigning of the house this summer, we're going to pay for them to have a room added to the house, so you can have your own place there too. I know you're happy in there at Camelot, and we want what's best for you, Octavia. But you. I know. You thought that because of my bickering with my mother and sisters, I wanted to fight as well. I don't. In fact, the only time I ever participated in any of their shit was come to their name. Not that I regret that. But I don't want you or Phil Six to be part of this orchestrated rivalry my sisters come up with, my mother's come up with. And I'm sick of that Charles is allowed Octavia. Ballard laughed. You don't really believe your cousin only went by Octavia, did you? Yeah, I overheard Thompson call her Octi, and it sounded as though it was a normal thing. Seeing a look on her daughter's face, he added, Anyway, you should be clear that your grandmother's gotten her hopes into the next generation. But I don't want you or Phil Six involved. Well, Rondell might want to. They feel your uncle refuses so that Fiddle get involved in it. I see. A second later, she learned her hands saying and said, I'm sorry. Oh, stupid. No, Edie said. You're all a teenager, doing teenage things. We want you to keep doing teenage things. We want you to be happy, whether that's a performer or a music teacher or even a bricklayer. We just want you to be happy, Taffy. That's all we want. Likes, Octavia said, blushing. Second later, see her soft murmuring. Now we should probably get back to Sunny in bed, 'cause he just sits into a food coma. Sure enough, the flame-haired teen was dozing off, leaning back in her chair. The post-prandial somnambulance had gotten the better of her. Hi, Gaius, Phil Six said. Practically gay as he met up with the girls the following day at Brentwood. Last Will, you look happy, Sunset said, looking from her tablet. I am. My ex called me up and says she made a mistake and wants to get back together again. Phil Six sharp, pressing a lock of her hair out of her face and tying it back in a ponytail. Caesar says he was fearing that I'd leave her for some California beach money. She just realized I'm only here for a spell. No offense, Fiddle, but your girlfriend sounds like a complete beast, Midnight commented. I'll never say she was a racket soundless, Violet admitted. Man, I don't know about you two, but I'm going to see Aunt Rondeau perform, Octavia said. I only see her play at family reunions, so I'm curious to see how she plays in front of an audience. I'll go with you, Fiddlesticks replied, though he had, but Ma's only a technical player. Bryce says he ain't got no verve or something like that. I'll wait here for minutes, then we'll join you, Sunset said. Oh, thanks, Sunny. Midnight replied, continuing the munch on a crate as the other two girls departed. Sunset waited until both were gone until she said, Mitch, why do you hate Screwball so much? Screwball! I love that old comedian. We have all of his films in front of boys, and does the name Summer Violet ring a bell? A second later, Sunset was treated to a slap in the face. Well, I see that got your attention, she said, nursing the blow. How dare you! Midnight snarled. How did she put you up to this? Or was all your research a lie just so you can use you as an intermediary? For starters, hit me again, and pop star or not, you'll be on a camera with a black eye, Sunset retorted calmly. Secondly, I'm doing this on my own. I idolized her, never knowing she was your sister. And not knowing that, she's trying to save you from whatever your parents is planning on for your stardom. Yeah, just so she can throw hers at me, Midnight said suddenly. Not that it's any of your business, Sunset, but I see what my mom and dad tried to do. Make me and Screwball famous so they can use that as a vehicle for their own careers. This is L.A. People do that all the time. Hell, Davi and Pez live in L.A. and did the same thing. Shows what you know. They would never do that to her. And I was just there last night when they explained that she'll be living with my family. She finishes school. They care about her future, not what her future can do for them. Now, I don't know your parents, and I barely knew you or Screwball. Not Screwball, Midnight hissed. Violet. I don't bother with a stage name. Fine, Violet. But you weren't there when she and your brother were kids. You didn't see what your parents have done to her. Frankly, neither have I. But I've learned a few things over the past year. Family's important. And even if you don't agree that she's trying to protect you, your parents aren't trying to screw you over, understand this. Violet loves you. I'm a stranger, and yet she asks to me for advice because she wants to protect you. It's like a big sister would do. I respect that, because neither do you. Nothing further to say since I got off the table, leaving Midnight to stew in her own juices. After a few minutes, she took the last bite of her crepe, then stood in her pocket for her phone and dialed a number. The phone rang for a few moments. Finally, a voice answered on the other end. Hiya! Screwball, hiya! Violet? No sense on the other line for a few. Slight such a tone in her voice. Warmer, less rehearsed and wild. Huh. Hey, Mitty. What's up? When you get back to LA, can we talk? Excuse me, Miss Simma. She looked up to see a member of the research staff standing there, holding a package. We got this priority delivery for you. Thanks, Sunset said, receiving the UPS package, opening up as the man walked away. A second later, she opened the envelope and read, Oi, Sunset, it's Screwball. Sorry to drop this on you, but looks like shit's going on up here in Seattle. I'm going to be stuck here for a few days, because Tricky figures his guitarist just quit and ain't need the album done by the end of the week. So Gruff Voice asked me to pay the rest of the guitar lines while he and the bond audition for a new axe slinger. I called to Brentwood and spoke with Dr. Paperchase to give me an extra week to work on the documents. Well, by then you'll gone home. Still, sorry about that. Anyway, the real reason I put pen to paper is, yeah, I know, who does that nowadays? So thank you. Lee's called me this morning. When I get back to town, we're going to talk. No much she don't want to listen to me. Well, even if Mom and Dad don't want what's best for her, and I do, but I want her to know that. I wouldn't have gotten to that point were it for you. So whatever you did, I owe you, big time. Anyway, you ever need to get a hold of me. My cell's 714-555-7225. My landline, 714-555-7695. Postal email is wheelball-guitar.com. In real town, I live at 8822 Cliffside Lane, Huntington Place. You're welcome anytime. Just know how partying, alright? Also, to my public agreements, I'm really a very quiet person. I'll strike a fire, if you will. Lastly, I'm including something I think you'll appreciate. It's a demo of my solo album I've been working for the past year. I'll be going to the studio next month to record the final versions. Mike D is producing. I don't think I'm going to enjoy this. You think about releasing it under my real name, since it sounds so different as my stuff as Screwball. Take a listen, seemingly annoying. Anyway, life's okay. I hope to see you again soon. You'll see rock! Violet. Sunset pulled out a small flash key that had a sticker labeled on it. She made an album demo and slipped it in her pocket. Whatever it was clearly going to be interesting. More importantly, she felt as though she had done something that was more worthwhile than anything else. I don't bet you didn't get the autograph from Rainbow, did you? Sunset silly froze and turned towards the voice. Her eyes pinpricks of embarrassment before she did a slow-mo face palm. Seeing the maneuver, Octavia laughed. Ha ha ha! Don't worry, got you covered. I didn't know you knew Violet, so I got ones for you and Rainbow. Thanks, but wait, you know Screwball? Octavia rolled her eyes. Yeah, remember? Midge is a distant cousin, and Violet and Midge are sisters, so Octavia giggled at Sunset's second baseball. Well, seriously, I didn't know you were being a busybody here as well. Busybody? Where? Aren't you the one they're calling the high school at your school? Sunset rolled her eyes. Rarity's been talking again, hasn't she? Complete with a copy of the school newspaper with a picture of you talking to another girl, or giving her advice as the Canterlot High Pony Express campus in it. And Susan grinned. I were quite proud of you, you know. Susie, though, I'm glad you were able to hit with me and find it. Taught me out what I said to my parents. Taffy, I didn't do anything with you or Screwball. The Cloud Kicker didn't do with Final Scratch. Immediately, Ativa's face fell. Quit pleasure scowl. Don't do that. What do you mean, don't do that? You're comparing me to an attempted rapist, Sonny. No, I'm comparing the situation everyone's in. Basically, it boils down to parents being overbearing on their children. Or in your case, the appearances sides. Kiki wanted to protect Final from destroying herself, whether it was by harming you or worse. Violet wanted to protect her sister from making mistakes she can't recover from. You hear about all those teenage stars who burn out and become drug and alcohol-fueled wreckets on the highway of life. Despite her image, Violet's not like that. So to watch their parents insist that Midge go that route frightened her. And as for me, you were worried your mom would fess a gift her sisters were enough to sacrifice you, when that was never the case. And I wanted you to know, no matter what, Twilight and I were going to bat for you. There was a flicker as said Cyan eyes, as I realized something about the situation. But she didn't say anything further. Really? Octavia prompted. Hey, what's the Amazing Eight without you, Tavi? God, I hope Pinky realizes how much I hate that name for our group. No one likes it either, but it's Pinky, Sunset said. So that explains it all. What's on the agenda now? Well, Miss is going to be performing more takes on our musical songs, and I can't wait to see how badly she butchers them. She was telling me how she turned Unicorns Gavolt into some R&B infused dance song called Unicorns, and I can't imagine how her ancestors will be rolling in the grave. Timmy gestured to Rachel Lecture Hall, where the performances were. Sally, do I have to? Well, it causes a lot of sisters, right? If one has to suffer, we both have to, right? Is it too late to change my mind on that? Sunset groaned. Yes, it is. Timmy said, grabbing her hand and dragging an annoyed Sunset towards the lecture hall. I said it before, and I'll say it again. I know there's so much awesome stuff later on that happens in the story, but I literally could just read this entire fic with all the life elements and not been disappointed.